Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. It's about to get hot in here, y'all. It's about to get hot in here. And without any further ado, we're going to introduce the Accawmackes Nation. I'm going to let them do that themselves so we can get on with the project. Lisa, it's on you.
Hello, thank you for having us. Appreciate you so much, the Indigenous one, for having us here. African Americans ain't African, and we're introducing the Seafaring Accawmackes, and they're about to bust open with their lives and YouTubes, and in no time they got a whole agenda of topics that's gonna really be enlightening and total fire. But tonight we're gonna actually give you the real on about the Moors. Good evening, Alberta. The Moor issue. Once and for all, we're gonna end all this nonsense, all this debate, and all this back and forth. We're gonna burn down those Moor Zaddy mystique. Did we get the music, or we don't have the music? Nope. Okay. Well, we just gonna get right into it then. We're gonna announce this fair use and we ready to go. And we're gonna put our little warning out here, a disclaimer, because warning, no Moors will be set afire by this program, although they will get hot. We honor the noble Drew Ali for the many Negro people his temple has helped. But the Moorish temple is not a nation and is not a nationality, nor did noble Drew Ali intend for it to be a nation. Having grown up on American Indian reservation, Noble Drew never claimed Moors were American Indians. Noble Drew never claimed Morocco to be America or in America. You can join the Moorish Temple, but it is not your nation or bloodline. It is a Messianic society, period. You may be American Indian bloodline if your genealogy proves you are American Indian. Your children are not born Moors. That would be a leap and very difficult to prove. They must join the Moorish Temple because it is a Messianic society. It is our belief that the Messianic societies are divisive and are destroying this planet. And I mean this planet. These secret societies use their wicked rituals, their satanic rituals, their freaking witchcraft is destroying the world. And we demand that the lies stop now. We have an agenda of things we're going to be getting on. The Moor etymology, the history of term Moor, all this stuff. You got to understand that a lot up top in whether it's Chicago, all these major cities, they inundated these people with these Moorish things. But think about this: what good have we seen come out of it? Either, like you said, we talked about the NOIs, the Nation of Islam, and the Moorish Daggone Science Temple. What have they done to change the dynamics with the crack epidemic, with anything, the gunfire, the killing, the gangs? Have they done anything to help anything be better anywhere? That's the thing that they need to think about and look at. You've been around all this time doing not a doggone thing. Let's keep that on focus. All right, let's go with the more etymology term and more in historical records and the fact that they keep, conflating the Moor as a description, all that kind of stuff. What you got to say about that? You know, um, seafaring people, seafaring Accawmackes. What y'all got to say about that?
Well, peace to the chat. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of misconceptions about the Moors being Aboriginal, using the Aboriginal term. Excuse me for the background. Yes, I'm sorry, that was my son. But yeah, so it's just a misconception. They're using this Aboriginal term and they mixing it in. And to me, what I see is that a lot of people are tied to this book, these two main religions, the Islam and Christianity or Hebrew. So they don't want to let go. So when they found that they might have some indigenous blood, they don't want to let it go. They want to carry it with them. So they want to find ways to just implement it as well into the indigenous lifestyle. So it's no different than the Hebrews, the Moors. They're all the same. You know what I mean? And it's all good. Things that it's all good if you want to be that on a spiritual level. Oh, I choose to be more because that's my spiritual beliefs. Then you'll get much more respect. You get much more respect. You know what I'm saying? But when you sit here and try to sway, like it's our ancestors were doing this for thousands of years here. I mean, you gotta have proof. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to do genealogy. So yeah, I don't want to hold it up, but yeah, definitely we gotta kill that. We gotta prove it. And stop being pseudo.
Well, the reality is when we look at the etymology, the etym it's Accawmackes is the nation, honey. Accawmackes is a nation. It's a nation in the kingdom. We got a flag, we got a constitution. What are you worried about? You're El God. You don't have a whole name. You're not, I don't know why you're questioning people that are actually their actual names that are linked to their actual people and are claiming their actual identity. I don't know why you're even, we can't have a conversation because I don't know what you are. Anyway, the etymology claims that a moor is to fasten a ship in a location, or it's like moors, different adjectives, or it's ish for the nativity of a country, or like Old Saxon, Old Norse, or that's the ish part of it. But it's really saying to borrow, it's really saying a rope or to fasten or anchors. That's what the etymology online dictionary is saying. Okay. Then you can go to the dictionary Britannia. What is a moor? And it says it's a noun and a verb and stuff. And it says it's a broad, open land that's not good for farming, especially to refer to land in Great Britain. Usually they say the moors, especially if you watch old movies or read old books. And then moored or mooring is to hold a boat in place with ropes or cables, just like it said in the etymology dictionary. And then we'll keep on going because then in Britannia it finally gets to the whole term of being in English usage Moroccan or formerly a member of the Muslim population of the Andalus, or now Spain and Portugal, of mixed Arab, Spanish, and Amagese, Berber origins. The Moors created the Islamic Andalusian civilization and subsequently settled as refugees in the Maghreb in the region of whatever, just dot, dot, dot. I don't know, doesn't have a continuation. And more says the same thing, same repeat. Then it says a tract to open land. Then it talks about areas in England and other areas in England that are referred to more, but mostly European.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, he's a Kusa. Okay, yeah, that's a whole nother. I'm not even gonna get into that. But anyway, let's also look at Shakespearean Othello. And what is that? Why do we look at Shakespearean Othello? Because what is Othello? The character in Shakespeare is known as the Moor, right?
BBC World Service, and now our Play of the Week. Othello, a Moorish general, has secretly married the young Desdemona, much to the fury of her father. Othello has recently appointed Cassio, a young Florentine, as his lieutenant, and outraged his longtime officer Iago, who wanted the promotion himself.
All right. So that's the Moor of Venice, Italy. Okay, so that's a Shakespearean play that was supposedly written about 1603, they say. And I think I may have that. No, I don't have that somewhere. Then we go to the actual whatever, the Clock of Destiny, the Moorish International College of the Great Seal, blah blah blah. And then when you read it, you know, I don't know, I think they have a picture of some Moors, white Moors, I don't know, doing some kind of something, gun salute or 21 gun salute, Neapolitan something. I don't know. Well, even in this front page of their site, first they talk about an American-born slave. I don't know what that has to do with being a Moor, and I don't even know how they can even say there's an actual picture of a slave that is American-born that looks like that, and where that would actually come from, which makes no doggone sense. But anyway, and how that makes her Moorish, like this is really weird. And then they have pictures of white folks, and I don't know what they're trying to show. Brandon slaves. What is that supposed to be? So it's just like this odd stuff. And then they have Ethiopian. You were not Ethiopians because it means demarcation line of geographic location. The correct name is Abyssinian. Da 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 da. And it says you call yourself American, really? You know. And I don't know how they say captured a Spanish Moor who he named the Cap Africanus. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? Anyway, so they say a lot of random stuff. Talk about the jigaboos and calling yourself black and African. And England was called the rulers, European and England called the rulers at that time Moorish, meaning dark skin. Okay, that's meaning dark skin. What does that have to do with having anything or being anywhere here?
Right.
Then it's like, well, how do you determine if you're Moorish? He said, if you have Moorish blood, then you're Moorish. Like, no real explanation of how you determine that you're Moorish or how you determine that you have Moorish blood. If you have Moorish blood, then you're Moorish. But you have to have an actual definitive answer for what a Moor is, not just dark skin. That's not a definition. Dark skin is not a nation. Dark skin is not a location. Dark skin doesn't mean anything. And then he talks about the fact, and then the contradiction is here that there are a lot of Italians, Spanish, Russians, Turks, Germans, Jews with Moorish. What is Moorish blood? What is Moorish blood? There's not a Moorish identity to say Moorish blood. So are they Jews from Morocco? What are they really saying? You're not saying anything because it's not defined. It's not something that he can define. Because if you're just saying it's black hue or dark skin, that does not define a people as a people or a nation. That's a problem. What you got to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's no different than African American. I don't know if they could see that. You know what I'm saying? It's not an official term. By the most I spoke with, I told you can't find that on no official documents. So I mean, that right there is the big red flag.
Right, and then Dingo Flamethrower said, not even Moroccans don't even use the term Moor, when having lived over there for 10 years. So, I mean, it's just a bunch of whatever. Like what are we really doing here? Like what you got to say, Naomi? It's not a nationality at all. Exactly. So then they talk about, did I get it from them? Yeah, they talk, well, anyway, so now there's, Rajahn was talking about how they're trying to hook themselves into the Ottoman Empire, which is clearly a Turkish tribe. Okay, so you're trying to hook yourself all the way back, for like really more than 700 years into the 12,000s into the Ottoman Empire. Because see, here you got the first his reign was from 1299 to 1324. So the first sultan of the Ottoman Empire. But you see how he looks? He's a total Caucasian. But guess what? It makes total sense that he's a Caucasian. Why wouldn't he be a Caucasian? Because where are the Caucasians? The Caucasians are in where? Turkey. Okay, that's where the Caucasus. Okay, what is it called? The Caucasus Mountains are. They're in Turkey. They're in Turkey. So the fact that the whole the Osman one, or the first sultan of the Ottoman Empire, that's who these Moors are saying they go all the way back to. The Bey, the first bay, a Gaza Bay, these bays and these L's and all that, it goes back to this white man. See, what they don't want to talk about is how they are so much in love and having a love affair with their sultans, with their Caucasian superiors.
Okay.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. The fact that this is an ongoing thing and that they're only trying to mimic Big Zaddy. That's all they're doing. They've been doing that forever. They've been always trying to get the attention and copy Big Zaddy. That's what it's all about. It's Messianic copying. What you got to say about that? Naomi, you got something to say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It is really a big distraction for people who are American and are from here. It's get on one boat and hop on this one. And to me, it is horrible to see people who talk about having, blood relation to the land, saying, oh, there's landmarks named after us and a city named after us, and our nation is El Bay. Like, that is horrible. Like, and they always say something about Moors and mentioning the these Moorish temples, or even horribly enough, some Nubian stuff. And to me, it's just like, it's really, honestly, if they are a part of the Masonic stuff, a lot of those different things are ways to take us off our land and off our actual connection to America. And I feel like they're like like a micro COINTELPRO agents in some aspect, but they're kind of like kamikaze type of ones because they don't even realize they're doing it. Some of them don't even realize that they're kind of launching themselves away from their own lineage single-handedly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's definitely what they're doing. I mean, and the thing about it is, they've always been doing that. They've been going everywhere they can around the world to rape, pillage, and plunder. That's what they've been doing. Here, even on this is the Clock of Destiny, the Moorish International College of the Great Seal. Okay, so this is straight from this website, supposed to be, I guess, official. Now, so like I said, it's a lot of double talk and a lot of nonsense on this website. It's horrible. Their information is sucks. Okay, so they admit that he was born Timothy Drew in North Carolina in 1886. So I guess it's supposed to be raised by Cherokee Indians and adopted into that tribe. Now at 16, Drew began to wonder, okay, about his his job as a circus magician. Well, we know that magician stuff, that magic and witchcraft, that falls right into the occult, and that falls right into him wanting to be part of a secret society and be Masonic. All that stuff makes sense. But where does one get all this Masonic interest and knowledge? Who was doing the Masonic stuff first? Once again, I have to tell you, because there wasn't a continuation of this Moorish, this Negro Moorish presence from the 12,000s to 1920 or whatever, when Noble Drew decided to organize his yeah, until he organized the temple. So all this time, where was all these daggone Moors during all this time? Well, I could tell you, they weren't. They weren't, because this is just something he learned to organize for the protection and for the magic and for the Masonic power that he was gonna use for his own people, mimicking the Caucasoids, right? Remember these Caucasians, because the Drew family is from where? Where's the Drew family from? It says the Drew name came from the USA, from Canada, USA, found in USA, the US, UK, Canada, and Scotland between 1840 and 1920. That ain't that far back. So anyway, let's talk about that Scotland. I'm gonna go land on that Scotland, because there's some things we got to catch up on and talk about with that. All right. So we talked about the etymology. We talked about the Sultan. That's the Sultan, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. Understand, before Noble Drew Ali, there was more than 500 years, like 700 years between Noble Drew Ali and the whole Ottoman Empire thing. Okay, so where's all that connection happening? And how does even Noble Drew Ali link himself to the Ottoman Empire? Does he have Turkish blood? How does that even work? See, that's the thing that makes sense. It being a nationality doesn't make sense. It is a Masonic society. If you look at where Noble Drew, where's his nation? He don't have no nation. He never said America was a Moor country. And you can't claim your rights in America, because look what really happened. The way that the Moors claimed their power in America is that Noble Drew Ali recognized that America stated they actually received the first recognition from a country. It was Morocco in 1777. And if you are going to recognize the United States, you can't be in America. So America can't be recognized by Morocco. The United States can't be in America and also be recognized as by Morocco, and then you can't claim that Morocco is America. It doesn't work. You can't recognize yourself. That's ridiculous. You cannot recognize yourself. If Morocco is America, then 1777 doesn't even work, because you can't recognize yourself. So if Morocco is America, how could it actually say, oh, we recognize the United States of America? Make that make sense. And here you have Donald Trump talking about Morocco recognizing the United States in 1777, and thus fitting that we recognize their sovereignty over the Western Sahara, not America. So was the bloodline of Noble Drew, and I misspelled that, so I'll fix that. You guys, you know what I mean. Noble Drew be American Indian? Well, maybe. But how is he a Moor? He just developed the Moor. It's a secret society that he organized, like you start a fraternity or sorority. It's a Messianic society, like Fred Flintstones and Barney and the daggone Grand Poobah, the Lodge. It's a secret society. That's all it is. A social group is what it's called.
Yeah. So it's
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a social group with religious beliefs, basically. And the thing is that I don't get, like, how are you gonna trace? How are you going back so far? Out doing your genealogy, starting from your parents, and your grandparents. But see, they're not doing that. 90% of Moors I've spoken to, when you ask them, did you do your genealogy? They're gonna tell you no. Maybe on one line or two lines. Like, yeah, that's not enough. So that's some might also do like a genealogy and find one actual ancestor that's from like France. They'd be like, oh, that's a French Huguenot. That's a French Huguenot. You know, they automatically make them the next, just like forget everybody else, forget my rest of my lines. I found me a Moor. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But that's for personal use. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you can't broad stroke that and paint everybody Moors that was in America, Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so then what is Moor blood? How do you get a Moor bloodline? How do you verify it? How do you answer? The Moor's blood can't be defined, it can't be found, it can't be proven. You can't, but you can find a Scotsman, or like you said, you might be able to find somebody for the Iberian Peninsula. You might find somebody like that, you know, but you're not going to be able to define what a Moor is. It's like calling somebody black. It's the same thing. So when you look at daggone the calling somebody a Moor historically is like calling somebody black, unless you're speaking about a particular period of time in a particular place like the Iberian Peninsula, or you're talking about specifically Morocco. It's not specific at all. It's very hard to define where you belong or who you are. That makes no sense because the noble Drew Ali was just trying to be somebody, just trying to create some power, just trying to create some standing and some status. That's all it was. It was a mechanism for freedom. It was a mechanism to change your status. It is not a nationality. So here's Noble Drew Ali, right? Noble Drew Ali, if he was a kid and he was a little Indian or whatever, maybe that would be him, perhaps, a little on the reservation kid, But let's say it is true with the whole fact that he was a pick-me Indian. And what I mean by a pick-me American Indian is like a government Indian. If he was on a reservation in the late 1800s, a lot of those people were selected. They were not, every Negro, most Negroes couldn't call yourselves Indian in late 1800s. So the fact that he was able to be with some relatives that actually could call themselves Indian could indicate that they were Black Scots or whatever kind of Scots, but Scottish, because the Scottish and the Irish were highly eligible to classify as American Indian. They were the pick-me Indians. They were the government sanctioned Indians. So a lot of times when you see these people on a roll, they pick-me Indians or they're government sanctioned Indians, like this gentleman, the chief of the Cherokee, John Ross. In case y'all don't know, your daggone zaddy of the Cherokee is John Ross. And he had blue eyes. He was white. He's supposed to have a mama that's the Indian. Now, if his mama's the Indian, he should have some of that look of this mama. She's supposed to have some Indian in her. Maybe not even nothing. Maybe nothing at all Scottish. But they claim she had some. She was probably a pick-me Indian too, a government-sanctioned Indian as well, and wasn't really an Indian either. She was just Scottish, but got to call herself an Indian. So anyway, he looks anywhere time you got blue eyes and this look, you ain't possibly, just as far as if you talk about scientifically, you ain't got no Indian in you. Not with all that going on. So basically, this is what a Scottish Indian, Scottish who could classify themselves as Indian, that's what it is. And if he was able to actually live on a reservation, he's possibly Scottish, right? He's possibly Scottish. And then if you look at the daggone, you know, these Shriners, they're no different than the daggone. They're no different um than the Moors. They the same thing. The Shriners are the same thing as the Moors, and they have a Scottish background as well.
Actually, I think they're higher than the Moors.
They're what?
In status, I think they're higher than the Moors in status.
Right. As far as the Messianic status, of course they're higher than the Moors. Well, anybody that's white, because the Shriners were actually organized way before Newable Drew Ali came up with the whole. He got it from them. So their status, they started their stuff, way earlier, and they're all over the place. And you got daggone you got Filipino Shriners, you got all kinds of Shriners and Messianic groups. But you see, they started their Messianic society started in 1870. That's the Shriners Messianic Society. There are other Messianic societies that are older than that in the 1700s. So I mean, and even older than that. So I mean, that's the thing. You talk about the Ottomans, then it skips all the way to the 1700s when they picked it back up again and called it Shriners and other Messianic things. But there's no bloodline connection. There's not a bloodline connection. There's John Ross. You see him? Okay, so going back, let's talk about what the Moors are today and what we doing, right? What are we looking at here? What's the real deal with the Moors? Like you were mentioning this, Thomas, about the I hadn't heard about the Moors were claiming this.
Yeah, claiming that the old man wearing fezzes, and I had to debunk that.
Right. So some folks are trying to still claim that they were wearing that the Olmec heads were wearing fezzes to show that trying to say that yeah, we always been in America, we're American. But they did a dig and they looked at it, they excavated, I guess they knew. They said clearly these were a helmet. This was it was a helmet they was wearing for battle, a protective gear one in battle or don while playing the Mesoamerican ball game. See, like the faces themselves, they have a real unique design, but it's not a fez. That was debunked. But look at this. These are Russians, Turks, Russians. There's a black one clearly, and there's a non. So I mean, these black Europeans or whatever. I don't know if he's what he is, but he looks. They're all together. Look, he's in the military with them. The Fezes. We have a group of black supremacists that have always existed and have worked with the white supremacy. That has always been. So like look at the these are the ancient Moorish, ancient science temples, ancient Messianic organizations. You see, all over the world, people are, they trying to be just like the other group. And it continues. You see, there's an intermixture of people. You see all different daggone, almost every complexion in that group. This is what they do. This is what they do. Looks just like it. See, Everybody's doing the same thing. And look at this. Where did they get all this? You know, this was an extreme. This is an extreme Masonic society. Okay, that's what it is. And the fact that it's carried on this long is probably just because of those rituals and whatever kind of daggone witchery and stuff they're doing within that society that they feel like is empowering them. That's what that's about. And look at all their buddies. See? all all their peeps, the same people doing the same thing, all of them all in bed together, and they're all trying to do what? Take the land, take you out out of our spot, and daggone confuse the people and divide the people.
But this black term, right?
With their Moorish term and the lies that they tell about Morocco and America. Look at this. Look how they standing in attention. They sitting there all in their fezzes. The queen's walking by and they acting like good little Moors right there.
Can
Oh,
I
they're
say
all at
something?
attention. What's that?
All right, I'm reading the chat and they're talking about Moors are supposedly indigenous mound builders. Moors are not builders whatsoever. They use the MOMAMU and they conflate that shit over and over and over again to
Oh,
connect themselves to the land.
mm,
And they try to use the MAR as like MAR, MAO, MAU, all those different ones to conflate something to connect them to here, but they're not mound builders. The mound builders come from the Mississippian culture, right? That is the states from Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Ohio, Chicago. All right. Those are the mound builders. Whatever you see motherfucking mounds, those are the mound builders. And a lot of those people are Creek people, Chickasaw people, Choctaw people, in a mixture. And there's similar and they have similar migration patterns. So you may meet somebody that's from Georgia that has family in Ohio, Chicago, and they do a triangle. Some of them will come to Virginia and go to Ohio and back to Alabama to Georgia. So, like, no, they're not mound builders. A lot of them are in that southeastern area. Those are where the mound builders are. Um, where you see old migration patterns of Mayan Indians, you'll also see where a lot of Indians are. So if you're going to conflate any ancient lineage to mound builders, they're going to be closer to the Yucatan, the Mayans, anybody that had pyramids towards South America, not Moors, because Moors are motherfucking cops, they're motherfucking pirates, and they're motherfucking scammers and their fucking dusty ass, snitching ass, selling you everything navigators, the same motherfuckers that came here with dusty ass Columbus or dusty ass Zarko.
There you go.
yep. The black bear was more likely a more and a bunch of
See, just because they make a website to daggone push their agenda, their false narrative, that that's that don't mean nothing, because their own website is a false narrative. This is they got all this stuff in here to try to push the agenda that they are a people that they are not, you know. And that's the thing about all these different people putting together these fake societies and these fake nations. That's a problem with it, you know, because all these people are being misled. All these people are being misled because somebody wants to put together a fake narrative and fake societies, and it's a lie. It's just a lie.
right. They keep trying to make I'm indigenous to this land, and I'm, you know what I mean. And like I said, the main thing I get kills me. Like, do your genealogy first.
Right.
Don't claim nothing unless you can prove it.
I mean, that's like that's like if everybody took every letter and tried to make it mean something else. Like, oh, we the Accawmackes, we the Accawmackes, we the Accawmackes, we Appa. Anything with an A or O sound, we just try to claim that shit. That's that kind of, that is not even indigenous in spirit. That's that freaking pirating, that daggone a predatory spirit that you're gonna try to usurp even the letter M and use it for everything. Anything with an M, you're gonna be like, mur, mur, mur. That's us. Give me a break. That's not a nation. That's not a people. There is no history that traces those people from those white people that we discussed here, or even the white people they show in their freaking own website. These the Queen of England, British Moors. What the world? How does that make them the Indians? If there's British Moors, how are they the Indians? If the Moors are in daggone or the Berbers, how are they American Indians? It's just lies. They're trying to act like the Moors are everywhere, and that's not even true. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But you see, they'll put up a fake website and put up a lot and throw a whole lot of stuff in there, all Mac heads and all kinds of indigenous history, and throw Noble Drew out. He had no intention of he had never made all these claims. These claims just happened over the last 3 years, because 4 years ago, even 3.5, they were talking about we were ridiculous, trying to be something else, talking about we were American Indian. So now all of a sudden, they want to hijack our entire identity. They want to create more as a Mer and act like they're mound builders. This is all a very new thing that they're doing. It just happened over the past 2.5, 3 years. That's a very recent thing. So this is the, and see, they take our pictures, they taking our feathers. Now they try, oh, what feathers or fezzes now?
Oh, you see that? Go back up. See that right there, that picture with the
This one?
feathers? With the dude
Yeah.
looking at the llama? That's a map of Virginia from the 1620s. With the not that one, but the one with the colorful feathers.
I think it's
It'll
flashing
show
on us.
again. Yeah, I think it's flashing like it's a
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a flash. Oh, I can go like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
That one.
That's not
Yeah,
that's the West Coast.
that's the West
Yeah.
Coast. That's West Coast.
He real dark.
They're just using everybody. See,
That
this
is
is the
so
thing. These
dusty.
L Bays, they're using all these people, and they're calling them MERS, and they're using everybody's images. That tells you that they're pirates. That
All right.
tells you that
All right.
they're crooks. That tells you that they're deceivers. That tells you that they're liars. They claiming everybody on the continent, on our continent, is them.
Hey, I got a question though,
Now,
right?
I don't have a problem if you want to be a part of this social sect. You want to be a more, fine. That's like me. You want to be a Jehovah's Witness. If you want to be a more, fine. You want to be part of the Moorish Temple, that's fine. But that is not your nationality, and that is not your culture. That is not your daggone bloodline. It's not that. It is a Messianic society, period.
Right, right. And I got a question, right? Because we see a lot of Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the feathers at? Please show me the feathers.
Oh my goodness, this is disgusting. Like, what is wrong with them?
They're just using everything to try to do this. But guess what? Their zaddies are probably financing this stuff, because their zaddies are trying to keep us confused, and they're trying to keep us from our true inheritance. And all these little fake Indian nations and all these fake daggone identities are just keeping us spinning around in circles and not getting anywhere. And believe me, these globalists are trying to get it. You got all these people.
That one right there.
That
Yep,
one,
that's
yeah.
it.
That's a Virginia one. And you got all these people that's working together. They're black supremacists. The Moorish Science Temple is a bunch of black supremacists. Whether they know it or not, they keep us divided. Whether they know it or not, they are pirates. And even the fact that they are trying to usurp the identity of the indigenous people is part of that pirating. It's part of the pirating.
Right, exactly. And you see, the pheasants is a good point, right? Because we know that the chief was in power. You know what I mean? Up to like what, the early 1900s. You know what I mean? So we would see at least one pheasant. You know what I'm saying? We would see one at least, and that's why I got a problem. I'm sorry. It's pseudo. I'm sorry. I ain't got feelings. It's okay. It's a religious belief. Okay, it's a religious belief. That's your religious belief, but it's not a bloodline.
It's not even really religious. It's because if it was religious, they would, I mean, this is what it is. It's such a pirating thing that's why it keeps on reincarnating itself into something different. Because it really is a Masonic society. It's not. It's just like the Shriners. It's not a religion, right? Because see, a Shriner may be a Shriner, but they're not kind of try to claim that everything with an SH it means that was they're the Indians.
Like a social club.
And they're not trying to say that Shriners got a Shriners land, come from Shriners land, and that they're Shrinish. Okay, they're not. Oh, I'm Shrinish. They're not doing that dumb shit. Only these daggone people. Only them. Only these dark daggone Moors are doing that kind of claim. But the Shriners, who are just like them, but higher up, like you said, they're not going around saying, I'm from Shrine Land, Shriners is America, Shrinerism, this is Shriner Land, I'm a Shriner Indian. They're not doing all that usurping and lying and remixing themselves. And you know what that is? That's shape shifting. You know what the Moors do? They shape shift. The fact that they keep on changing all the time, they remixing themselves. How you gonna change yourself from what your father and your founder, Noble Drew, intended? How you gonna shapeshift yourself into something that he never claimed? That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. He never wrote that this was Morocco. He never wrote that the Indians from here. And if anybody knew about Indians, he would. He grew up on a reservation, but he never made that claim. Yet you're gonna lie on your founder. That's sick. I hope he curses y'all for that. He did that magic and stuff. I hope he curses y'all for that. Lying on him. How disrespectful is that? Who does that?
But the Moors, they tied themselves. That's why I said they were religious, though, because a lot of them most of them tied themselves to the Moabites or the Bible.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're shapeshifters. They tie themselves to everything. How you gonna be Ottoman Empire, Moabites, anything with an M, y'all? Yet they claiming to be it.
Facts. That's facts.
I mean, that's a shapeshifter in every detail. They are constantly trying to be something else, constantly trying to change up, so that you don't know really what they're doing. And what they're trying to do is undo us. And what they're trying to do is confuse us. And what they're trying to do is divide us. It's a problem. Got people changing their name. Why are you changing your name? Your name connects you to your real lineage, dum-dum. Your name connects you to your true lineage. When you go to court and try to prove you're connected to Jane Matthews, and that's Jane Matthews' land, and you call yourself Bay, how you got to explain you changed your name. You got a whole lot of explaining to do, Lucy, because you're making it more complicated. for the judge for your claim by not being who you are. But no, oh, you don't want no land, right? And you don't want to claim nothing. That's what you might say. Something stupid like that. Right. Y'all want to do things that these people tell you to do. You're programmed by these people, and these people are shapeshifters that mean you no good. And the people that you're following are controlled by the globalists that are their zaddies. And you don't even realize that your leaders are controlled by these leaders. Your leaders are controlled by these leaders. And they keeping you pivoting and jumping according to what their leaders tell them to do. That part that you don't want to believe, that part that you don't want to tell yourself. But even in the historical pictures, you can see that it's always been that you've been intertwined and intermixed and doing this daggone dirty, nasty dance with each other for all these years. It's a problem. It's time that we understood the lies that they're telling. It's time that we understood that this is not a nationality, that they are not mound builders, that they're using all kinds of daggone building a website. See, this is the thing, y'all. Building a website and talking with bass in your throat and acting like you got an attitude that you know what you know, don't make it true. It does not make it true. We have to stop believing the drama. And they can put any picture up, and then you believe, oh, look at them. They got all them feathers and Indians. That's a Moor. That's a Moor. That's a Moor. They're all the same.
Lisa,
You can barely find that in the etymology that Moor is a Moor. And if it says Moor, it don't say about no Moors in America. Nowhere does it say about Moor, talk anything about Moors in America.
Lisa, can I get in for a minute?
Yeah, please.
I just want to, this is what I want to do, because you hitting it. I mean, what you're doing, you just giving a plate full of food and all you have to do is eat. It's that simple. But this is what it does to us over here. It fucks up the kids' minds. I want to give you an example by this post this cat just posted. Your whole scheme. So what you're saying, Lisa, is a scheme. The Accawmackes is a scheme. The Lattahatchie is a scheme. The Mississippians are a scheme. And he says this comes from the Moors. Empress. Dude, Empress is way late. The indigenous one took it to the digital realm, and Dane Calloway took it to, and made a comfortable living from it. Dude, it's not a scheme. You're African. Do you calling yourself African? Then you try to come over here and tell the people that have done their genealogy what they are. You sound dumb, dude. You sound dumb. And what are you doing to these children? What are you doing to that? That's what pisses me off about these Moors, Christians, all these groups that don't have nothing to do with the people over here. You just coming over here trying to usurp their power. It ain't happening. Simba Quasi. What kind of shit is that? So listen, to everybody in the chat, I just want to say this. Do the genealogy on yourself. Find out who your people are. Find out who you are. All this bullshit about people coming from other places of the world coming over here. You don't hear about Indians over in South Africa. You don't hear about Indians over in Jerusalem. All these people, and you got to see this, because these children are confused. You can see these cats who talking, teaching them are confused. Teach your children who they are. That's the only way you're going to stay viable. Okay, Lisa, I'm done.
See, this is the thing. People be claiming things and they don't know nothing about what they're talking about. I don't even understand how he could put that out his mouth. Noble Drew Ali wore a turban. What are you talking about? Where are you getting this information? This is the daggone Clock of Destiny, Moorish National College of the Great Seal. This is the Noble Drew Ali story page. This is a fez. That's him wearing a fez. Do you know what he even looks like? Do you know what Noble Drew Ali looks like? Why are people falling down for something and you don't even know nothing about it? What is wrong with people? Are you not thinking at all? Are you not thinking at all? Do you get
God, shut up with this fez. It's not
this
marked.
is
Shriners
Noble
mark
Drew
their
Ali
fezes,
right here
bro.
on the end. This is him right here. If you Google him, he's got fezzes on. What are you talking about? I don't understand how people are so irresponsible with their lives and the lives of others that they don't research anything. And then they speak words and they don't have anything coming out of their mouths that makes sense. And they do it with pride. It's that arrogant ignorance that I can't take. How can you be ignorant and arrogant about it? His fez is not marked, baby. Ain't nobody said the Shriners had the exact same fez. You're not exactly like Zaddy, okay? But you're still licking behind Zaddy's butt, aren't you? You're
Whoa.
still lapping it up. No, you're not exactly like him. You're brown. You're brown and you got a different style to your fez. But you still lapping it up and doing your own chocolate remix, aren't you? Cha-cha to the left. Slide to the right. You still trying to be just like Zaddy. Come on. There's nothing more to be said to these daggone to these Moors, but it's just that we want the community to be informed because they're working so hard to try to be us. Like I said, not saying that you what your background is, but I bet you ain't gonna find no more background. And I wish you the best in trying to figure that crap out because that's the land of make believe. That is the land of make believe. This Colonel Sanders, these fez wearers, these are your zaddies. Those are who the Moors are following behind. And guess who's controlling the purse strings? They're controlling the purse strings and they're puppeting the leaders of these Moorish temples. Believe it. Believe it. Everything you're following is being controlled by white supremacists, being white supremacists who are controlling the black supremacists. And the Moorish temple is a fine example of black supremacy being controlled by the globalists. Anybody got anything else?
Yeah. Are people conflating having like black European lineage to being a Moor? Is that what they're doing as well?
Exactly.
This
E-
shit gotta stop.
Exactly. All pseudo. Right. Um, that's why I advise people to do the genealogy, man. Get those records, corroborate those records, make sure you got records to corroborate your ancestors, then you move forward and keep going up. Don't claim nothing until you find something. But Moorish is not even a bloodline anyway. It's not. It's not a bloodline. Um, like you said. What proof? You got Turkish Moors, you got Arabian Moors, uh, you got several different Moors. That's how you know it's not a bloodline. It's right in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's right there in front of your eyes. It's several different Moors. So obviously, it's not a specific bloodline. It's more like a group. You know, a party, a political party, or just a tie. We're gonna make a group, and so we can have allegiance or whatever. It's some type of allegiance group, should I say, for benefits. You know what I mean? For personal benefits. You know.
Right, it is personal benefits. That's all it is.
And
It's
yeah.
it's a Masonic society, and Masons are problematic all over the planet. They are destructive and they're problematic, and that's a fact. And secret, anything ritualistic, they ain't doing nothing good for not anybody. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. And a lot of them feel like that word more is like a title of black nobility. You know what I'm saying? So they try to tie themselves to being noble. So depending on the century, the country, and whatever, more could mean someone who is a black nobility, more could mean just some brown motherfucker that's stealing my fucking cake or some shit. It depends on the time period and the country what they're referring to. It could just mean fucking brown or fucking dark. It could mean some broke ass nigga, somebody that stole my rice. Like it's very vague, but when they find it in other words, like in a Black Laws dictionary, more means a fucking cop in Britain, a fucking fed. So like to me, it's very a vague, vast word, but they try to tie it to being noble, being being of a certain society, but you don't see anybody that skull and bones say that they're skullish or bonish. They don't do that. So to me, it's just like a really big psyop of fucking stupid shit and just wasting people's time, keeping them away from their actual lineage, and robbing them of their true heritage while trying to tie themselves to this land and trying to call America El Morocco. No, it's not. All right. And even the Morocco in Africa or wherever the fuck is not even as old as the city of Morocco that's in America, but it's not even the same Morocco. Like they don't even have an actual Nile in Africa. So like it's just so much stupid shit they do. Like the Morocco there is not even that old. It's fairly new. So it's just a lot of conflating so many different things and distracting people to who they are and then tying themselves to like if I want to be even more petty like Moor or Land of Mu or the Musselheim people of Norse mythology. That's fucking hellish people that eat everyone and burn people the fuck up. So if you want to tie it to every MUU, MMO, MAR, Muspelheim land in Norse mythology talks about giants, problematic, hellish ass people. So if you want to go on that route, okay, y'all are fucking problematic, hellish people anyway. So I feel like the Muspelheim Norse mythology idea of a Moor, because it's MUU, fits them perfectly.
Can,
Good point.
can I add? Can I add this right?
Yeah, please.
Let's not forget that the Moors is the ones who started all this drama in America. Don't forget Christopher Columbus and all of his buddies that came were all either Sephardic Jews or Moors. And it
That
was said
part.
that the Sephardic Jews and Moors lived close and peaceful, I think 300 years, something like that. I can't remember this exact number, but they lived in peace. So they basically was one for a while. So when they came, they the ones that came here and commenced the war on us. Heavy war, bloody war. They came here and said, we're not leaving. Like, what? This is what they did. We're not leaving. Like, what, nigga? So, yeah, this is what happened. And it was it was a mess. We know the ugly story. We just got told it was a Native American story, but really, it was our story. And it was them that came to do it. It wasn't no white people. We got to, really fix that in our head. It wasn't the white people that came here and commenced war on us.
Exactly. Exactly. And then if you really even look at this image, I mean, all it was the white supremacists what wanted to divide us up, to create a boule, to create a supremacist black class, to divide us. To they're gonna be our overseers. That's a part of this. You can see that in the picture. Oh, I'm a special. I'm a different. I'm a Moorish Science Temple member. Blah blah blah. That's the stuff that they do. Okay, that's the stuff they want to see us do. Hack ourselves up, divide ourselves up, create more differences where we shouldn't have differences. That's what all these different societies, that's what all these different groups, that's what all these different divisions do. They just create barriers that prevent us from uniting the way we should be united. Anybody want to hop on and say something? You put that in the chat so y'all can get on if you want to get on. Any of you L's or bays or whatever, L bays, want to just hop on. I really don't recommend it because you're really not saying things that isn't talking about that. Anyway, in New York and New Jersey, the influence of the NOIs and the Moors is palpable. Most of the people, especially that live in like Newark or any kind of urban area where there's any kind of concentration of the Negro, they're gonna have that be. They're gonna cut their teeth on these societies, either the NOI or the Moorish Temple or both. It's a very big influencer, and it's something that if you've cut your teeth on it, it's hard for people to get out of their system. Their allegiance to it is somewhere deep in their psyche. It's problematic, but that's just the way it is. So people in New York, that's the way they are. People in New Jersey, that's the way a lot of them are. I understand the pathology, but it is a pathology nonetheless. It really is. It is. Because what we can't deny is that it's not unifying. Just like I said, being a Jehovah's Witness or whatever else, any other thing that separates from you, from your people, from your family, from uniting, and makes you just go off with this group over here rather than that group over there, or rather with all your people, it's a problem. And sometimes people are too indoctrinated to see that. Okay, all they know is the good times they had hanging with their Moorish temple friends, or being included in these activities, or whatever, going to these parties. I don't know, but those things are different from the reality of what it really does to us as a people on a big scale. And sometimes we have to look at that, and sometimes we have to force ourselves to put a critical eye to it. Okay, now, like I said, there's nothing wrong that if you want to be a part of it, but don't go lying and making the Moorish Science Temple something that is not. Don't go usurping the people's nationality and their country and remixing history, because that's colonizer behavior. That's colonizer behavior. When you're so usurping my identity, his identity, this country, all of a sudden you're a mound builder and you're a daggone, you're all kinds of Indians all over the country representing the whole country, acting like you're the whole everything, going back and taking the Accawmackes, taking all this history for yourself. That is colonizer behavior. You're remixing history in just less than 2 years. That's predatory and colonizer in behavior. And I like a lot of people who actually are involved with the whatever Moorish Temple, or have a background in it. I like them as people. But what has to be looked at is how anything like that is problematic. And what is and in itself is not problematic. I just want to clarify. It is all the lies and the usurping of history and the usurping of identity and the remixing of what the Moorish Science Temple means. And I've talked to Moorish Science Temple people who say, yeah, it ain't right. We that's not what Noble Drew Ali was about. It was about he was about, he wasn't trying to say the Moroccans were America and America was Morocco. He never said that. He wasn't trying to call us Indians. Any real, true Moorish Science Temple person that actually respects the founder is going to say that. And I know people who do say that. But these people that's all over the internet trying to remix everything and usurp these colonizers, they're probably being paid by globalists. They're probably being paid by these white supremacists. They're probably black supremacists being paid to keep things confused, because the real ones, they don't do that. Yeah, we already talked about Timothy Drew we did all that. We did discuss that, what his name was, and we talked about all that.
Hey, and I want to add, and I noticed that, more, it definitely kills the chance of you getting your inheritance. That's another thing. It's going to take you away from the Indian, because you can't claim more to nothing. Like I said, it's not a legal term. When I say legal, I mean like you can't find on no application for no job, for no government agents. See, nothing. You can't find it anywhere. Not even in the Constitution. The only way they can get is through indigenous rights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you can get free, not through Moorish America.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Try to put that on the application. See, try to look for that. I'm a Moor. I'm a Moor. I'm a Momo. Whatever you want to do, whatever M word.
You know what
put that anywhere.
You know what they're doing? Some of them, a lot of them I see do. They mix the Moorish. It'll be Moorish American Cherokee. Like what? Moorish American Muskogee. Like what?
They need to get slapped. That's some old bullshit.
And you know what? And we all know what that was really born out of. That's really born out of the fact that they were getting locked up. Okay, they were getting locked up using their Moorish identity, so they had to find a mechanism that they could use that wasn't going to get them locked up. But they used the Indian. That's why they're remixing it. That's the reality of it. For years, that Moorish identity was working for them. It gave them they were using it and they were getting away with it. And then they started getting locked up and they thought, well, what else can we use? And then the idea came, we can be Indian. That's all that is.
I would suggest, if you look at the way of the world today, it's blasphemous that these cats would confuse these young people on purpose, especially the way of the world is going today. What's your view on that?
It is. It really. I'm trying to figure out what Okanuba is talking about. They're really sovereign citizens. Define that. How do you define a sovereign citizen, and what does that mean? What does that look like in real life? What are the daggone parameters that you can measure that they are actually sovereign? What does that mean? It sounds stupid. See, that's what people do. They use words that impress. Well, we've got all our rights and privileges and sovereignty, and they just do this word witchcraft, this word witchery, right? And then you're supposed to be like, really? They really have their no, man. That don't mean nothing. You saying sovereign citizens movement, or saying they really are. That don't mean you saying they really are sovereign citizens. I haven't seen that in real life ever. Okay, so prove to me How they moving like sovereign citizens and they getting locked up. Tell me how they sovereign.
Yeah.
See, this is what people do. They just say things. And you know what Negroes do? Really? Really? I mean, just because they say it, just because they're saying it, doesn't make it so. Just because they say it with an attitude, just because they use the words, don't make it real. But we don't even investigate. We just take it on his word. Well, man said this. Really? Really? Men and women say anything. But have you seen it? Have you lived it? And what's the verifiable proof of it? That I haven't seen. What you got to say about that, y'all? Hello?
They listen. I mean, it's going to be up to ourselves, and these things we should know when we're 5 or 6 years old. When somebody bullshitting you, because it's all just the same old shit over and over and over again. When you ask, have you ever noticed when you ask a moral question, what happens?
Mm-hmm.
When you ask a moral question, what happens? The first thing they do is run away from what you're asking.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out why all these Moorish people ain't trying to talk about what they know, because they don't seem to really know very much, actually. I mean, sadly, even on your website and information, a lot of this stuff is ignorant as I don't know what. I mean, seriously, they should have paid attention in school. I mean, this stuff is sounding crazy. I mean, it sounds like the person is schizophrenic the way they're writing some of this stuff. They contradicting themselves right in the same daggone sentence almost.
Yeah, they say you got to get your paperwork together. They love that. That's one of their spells. They always say paperwork. They spell
Well, now their paperwork has to include that they're Indian because their Moorish paperwork don't work no more.
exactly.
And you know why their Moorish paperwork don't work no more? Because Zaddy found out you couldn't stop the Indians from moving forward. You couldn't stop the Indians from waking up. So your daggone mischievous asses failed. And that's why you're getting locked up now. Because you're supposed to be the overseers. You're supposed to be colonizing, but you failed at colonizing us. And you failed at keeping us daggone oppressed and confused. So that's why he's locking your asses up now. So now you're trying to create a new confusion. It's all what it is.
You know, and another thing too, what we have to be cognizant of. You know, we got to stop taking all these foreign ideologies. This is how people are getting over on our asses because we just don't know shit about ourselves. And we're taking all these foreign ideologies, and the people who are pushing this foreign ideology, you know, sit up on a throne like they know everything. You can't go to other places and speak about the culture from over here, over in those places. But these Negroes can go steal another person's culture from somewhere else and try to come confuse you with it. Them niggas gonna pay.
All fact.
You know, you go to somewhere else and bring it and feed it back to your children. Nigga, are
That's
you crazy?
toxic, sick. Yeah. They don't care who they kill. They don't care who they keep from their daggone inheritance. They don't care who they confuse and manipulate. They don't care because they're predators. Predators just eat. They just eat.
So I see that we don't have any Moors coming in the bat, you know, to speak up for themselves. You guys are welcome. Just, sound like you got some sense. Yo, dude. See this image right here.
Some
Oh,
old
man,
bullshit right there.
come on, man.
This image right, and this is a football player, and they have some kind of pull with the youth. This is how it's done. They get you when you young.
Right.
Take that motherfucking feather off that damn fez.
Oh no,
Even confusion going on.
let me guess. He's supposed to be an old man.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Love a feather, a
Man.
fucking fez. That is a gigantic fucking psyop.
Yes.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It looked like they claimed the Indian, but they want to claim more. That's what it is. I see the message.
Right.
You confused.
That is what it all is about. And that's the problem. That is the problem. That this is all really, they're just puppets. And the daggone globalists are pulling their strings to be these people that they're not, and to manipulate our youth, manipulate our people, and keep everybody divided and confused. And you see how easy people are confused. You got people named El God who's sitting up there saying he's a Kusa. What the hell is a Kusa? You know, what the hell is an El God? You know what I'm saying? They just making up shit. And they think that that is going to get them that's going to free their progeny. Making up shit don't free nobody. Making up shit don't work.
And to mix
It's a big old delusion.
and to mix what you're saying, Lisa, you're confusing yourself. You're speaking about confusing yourself. How is that going to help your children?
Oh, yeah, Kusa is a branch of Indians in, I think, Creek Indians
No,
in
I know what
Georgia.
Kusa. I know
They
exactly.
ask, but you can't
No,
conflate El Bay and Kusa. You can't conflate
no, because
actual
Kusa,
indigenous
because
shit with Moorish shit. That is fucking retarded.
no,
Oh,
Kusa
because
is an actual lineage, but
no.
Moorish
But
and
see, the
El
people
don't
that's
go together.
organizing Kusa, they're like, we're spiritually Indians. They're using some bullshit to organize themselves. Like, well, we know we're indigenous because spiritually we're connected, or they're doing that's why people can join Kusa and be doing dumb shit that makes the Indians look crazy. Like talking about they El God and see, that's embarrassing. And what's really fucked up about the Kusa is they used Accawmackes paperwork. They fucking used somebody I shared, Accawmackes paperwork gave it to them damn Kusas. And that's fucked up because they're a bunch of crazy fraudulent people. That's crazy. That's why they got, and see, that's what is the problem. You got all these groups popping up, just doing all this dumb stuff. So the people in their groups are out there saying all kinds of, they're not family. They're not kinship. They're not of the same bloodline. They're people from all over who probably ain't even Indian. That's why they're going around bearing all this Moorish stuff and talking all crazy because you have no standards. You cannot have, you cannot start an Indian. Cannot repatriate yourself and not have any standards because you know what you're not doing. You're not repatriating yourself. You're just creating another society. It's just an Indian society rather than a Moorish society.
Confusion.
That's all it is.
El God, you said Langley did your genealogy. I would suggest just simply that you do just check out Langley, check out who he is, check out who he worked for. Dude, you already made an ass of yourself all night. You just told me that your mother and grandmother were Indians here. How did you get to be a guy? How did you get to be a Moor?
How you an El God? Is that your grandmama's last name, El God? Is that your mom? Is
Just
that whose name is that? Come on, you're confused and you sounding crazy.
and
And it doesn't make any sense. And you said he wore a daggone turban. He didn't wear a fez. That's what you said. I could scroll back and look at it and copy and put it in your face. Look, people talk crazy. And I don't know whether you just are sleepy or not really just very, attentive. but you have time people don't even know what they saying.
You know what you saying, don't you, El God? You know what you saying. You know how you sound. Dude, seriously, before you go out speaking to these people, know who you are first. It'll sound better because everybody in this chat knows you're confused, dude. Just by the way you speak. So get it together, brother.
Yeah, people need to get themselves together, and people need to start, being more, having a more critical eye, having a more critical mind. Just because somebody says something, people, I got the documented, I got this, we got real results. People they use all kind of words and all witchery, and it's all a bunch of spell casting and daggone witchcraft. It don't mean nothing. Real people, do real things and have real evidence. Evidence. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof that this is the history? Where's the proof that you are these people? Where's the proof that you all share the same lineage? Where's the proof that you are all connected? How would you defend it? How would you all get your land? How are you organized to do that? How would you all share? Where's the proof? That needs to happen. If those things are happening, we did a bill to tell you what to look for in these organizations to see if they're fake or fraud or whether they're real. We did that. That was what, Friday? Something like that. But this is what the problem is with the Moors. The Moors started getting locked up, and then they had to find a way out. And the way out that they clinged on to with their nasty claws, with their all fours, grabbing a hold like an ape, was the Indian. They're just looking for somebody to take over. That's all it is.
So when the Moors say, they're Americans or however they say it, you got to ask them questions that would make sense and watch the look on their face. So this Moorish cat told me, yeah, man, America used to be American. I'm like, did they wear fezzes too? He said, yeah. And I'm like, where was the headquarters that they made the fezzes in America?
Why are people
Yeah.
they're gonna talk about the color of the fez as if that figure makes a damn difference? What's wrong with people? Why are people so slow? I just don't like dumb, slow people. I don't like them. It's okay if you're really like mentally handicapped. I like those people. But when there's an excuse for you to know better, I don't like that. You're lazy. You can know better because you just don't want to think and you don't want to research. And those people make me sick.
If we're gonna be using MU words, we might as well use Musselheim. And what that is a Norse hot glowing land of fire, home to fire giants, and they're called world destroyers. So you're fucking destructive. If you're using the MU and the MO, you're destructive world destroyers. And you fucking stink. Because MU means everything more, right? MU, MO, MA. So let's add Musselheim people to that same repertoire of the MU, MO, everything's a more series.
What does the Fez represent anyway? Why is the Fez so important to them?
Oh, I got it. No disrespect to your Moors, but they claim that it's supposed to be an opening to the portal, supposed to be some holes at the top of the hat. I was reading on it. And it's supposed to open to the sky, to open to give you like open to the realm, to the celestial realm. which is like, if you don't know what celestial mean, I mean the stars. You know what I mean? The constellations. Yeah, but it sounds good. Like I said, yeah, they make it sound.
That's good.
It's
Good information there. Good information about their ridiculous daggone
I'll take it even
rituals.
further.
Great, yeah, give that.
So let's do MAR, right? You got Mars, you got Martians. You look how their world is fucking devastated and destroyed and there's no life. So it kind of fits that you destroy shit and fuck shit off. If you're gonna use the MAR or MAOR, let's add Martians to that. The world that you already had, you fucked off. It is fucking dead. So let's not fuck off Earth while you're at it.
Oh, check
The Moors from Mars. I believe that. I
and get
believe that.
into right.
I
You got,
believe that. That makes sense. Destructive. Yes, that makes sense.
because you can replace vowels with other vowels, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Mars, more. Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
They didn't think about it. What about mortician? Morgue. Because they kill it because they like to use that black is dead, right?
Right, right.
It's civilis mortis, right? It's called civilis
Right.
mortis.
Thank you. That's there. Claim that too. We'll give that to the Moors. Let's give it all to the Moors. Thank you. Mortician. Mortician. They own all the dead. I believe that. They are the caretakers of all the dead. They are the dead people. They're the real walkers. The Moors are the walkers of the planet. More kids.
Hold on.
Kids. Yes. Yes,
I
a
got
death
one.
pledge. There you go. More kids.
Hey, moron.
Moron. Yes, all that. All that. A death pledge, the morgue, the mortician. Yes, Mars, all that. Thank you. That's all that they belong to. Moron, all that. Give that all to them. It's an opening to a sunken place. I mean, it's real. That's what we're dealing with. I mean, we have to understand that, these are desperate predatory people that are in a secret society. And it gives them a sense, it was giving them certain benefits, but those benefits have dried up. So now they're trying to latch on to our identity in order to keep some semblance of benefits. And they're trying to rework it better than the Indians are working it. I don't know how effective it's going to be with all this weirdness that they're doing, especially when real people are organizing like the Latahatchee and they're doing weird stuff like calling themselves Kusa, but they're not even all from the same lineage and they don't all have ties to the daggone same place. So it's just a bunch of spell casting and make believe. It's make believe, huh?
So you think that's what the spell casting that brings forth is just to keep everybody confused, because you never hear about the indigenous spiritualization around here. You never hear about what their beliefs were and what they were taught. So all these groups, all these foreign ideologies coming over here, do you think that stops the indigenous people from knowing their heritage and their spirituality and all that?
Because when we actually first of all get back connected to our real ancestors and not El Bays, because you can't El Bay, they don't know you, okay? They don't know you from no El Bay. A lot of times our names are they are, first of all, they're amalgamations of our family, in various ways. but for not just your last name, sometimes your first name, middle name, that's what we do. We are our ancestors. So when you change your name, it's confusing. Okay, how you get identified as them. You think they know you, but then they're confused. Okay, so basically, the fact that we're getting in contact with our ancestors, the fact that some of us are actually reclaiming and getting in contact with the soil of our people and actually getting our soil back, or actually have a pieces of our soil, that is powerful. And that's how your spirituality comes back to you. It can't come back to you when you're completely out of touch with who you are. And that's why they want to keep us confused. That's why they want to keep us off of our daggone track of actually reclaiming our real names. When you say things like Letahachi, when you say things like Accawmackes, when you say your real names and you actually are in your real places, that is a powerful thing. The spirituality, the power goes back to you. You start re-understanding what you should be doing. You start re-understanding what your spiritual practices were. It downloads to you. But the reality is they don't want us to have that. So that's why they keep all these different, because everybody's so busy learning how to be an L and a Bay and all, try to be a good Moor, and meeting up with other Moor stuff and doing Moorish hand signs and signals, and you're killing your ancestors. You can't hear your ancestors. Your ancestors can't connect with you because you're doing all this foreign stuff. You're blocking you're blocking your inheritance. That's what this stuff does.
And when you say your names, this shit is real. When you say the names of your ancestors, that shit comes right back to you, hits you right in the head. And this is what I'm saying. We on all this foreign bullshit. I mean, how dare you? When you call out your people's name, when you call out the lands that your people are from, it appears just like that. And stuff like that. I didn't know. Nobody told me. Yeah, you know. You don't want to do it because you know you've been fucking around and they gonna put their foot in your ass. That's why you run away. That's why many of you try to be Moors, Hebrew, Israelites, all this bullshit. Your people wasn't that. I don't care if your grandmama was that. You know what happened to them. You're supposed to correct it. Isn't that what you're here for?
Right.
That's go back to that one. When you show up more of this picture and you ask them, "What's up, dude? What's happening with that?" The lies that come from their mouth, you can see them. You can actually see the lies coming from their mouth. Instead of hearing them, you can see them.
They're gonna say, man, we was meeting with them, man.
Yeah, you standing at attention where the blood is frozen in your veins. And you trying to bring this to your children, but we assholes. I hear you. I hear you. So if you don't have nothing written on the fez, you're a different person. That if that was just blank.
Nah, that just means a different tribe.
Oh, okay.
Right. That. Maybe they didn't have money for the names yet. Maybe they still was trying to raise money for the names. They hadn't gotten that to that level yet.
Yeah, it's probably based on how many they recruit, honestly. They be out there working hard.
Like a pyramid scheme.
They be out there recruiting hard. They working overtime on the recruiting now.
Oh yeah.
But you know,
Evidently, if they using athletes to putting feathers on pheasants, I mean that's sad. You trying to pimp the young like that? You pimping the babies? You pimping them?
oh no,
Horrible.
you know what a brother told me the other day, and I was like, damn. And that's why you gotta always speak righteous, man. You gotta whatever you know that's right, you gotta put it out in the ethers. You know what this brother said to me? He said the
Mhm.
baseball caps are an offshoot of the Moorish fezzes. And I was like,
Mm.
well, what do you mean? He goes, you notice Negroes wear baseball caps all the time, and none of them niggas own a team. He said all they're doing, just like the Moors, all they're doing is pushing somebody else's ideology on the masses. I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting, I guess. I mean, it is. I mean, the whole fact that anybody's promoting a team like they worshiping these teams is stupid too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you want to fight somebody because your team won, or you gonna get depressed because your team lost. You letting all that affect you, and you ain't getting no check. That stuff is crazy. But we got to stop doing that. I mean, there's certain things we got to stop doing. We got to stop doing as a people, and that's one of them. Being fans of dumb shit. That's what's got to stop it. Being these super fans of these dumb things that do nothing for us, and being involved with these daggone social, these Masonic social groups, these fraternal orders, these whatever these things that all these things, the church groups, the churches, religious sects. We need to stop it because all it does is create confusion and divisions among our families.
So do you think, going back to the sports thing, they're changing names of some of the teams. They used to call some of the teams Indians, Redskins. D- how come people don't see that?
They don't see no Mississippi Moors.
Yeah, I mean, no, but you know how they had the red, so on the red, so this is always my question, and I'm
I'm
wondering,
mad about Aunt Jemima. I'm mad about the butter. I'm mad about Uncle Ben. I'm mad about all that stuff. And I don't think we should stop buying any of those products because they're what is that about? Ain't nobody asked for this stuff. Like
right,
that, like that's making me feel like a whole being that you took Aunt Jemima away. That's making me feel that I feel restored. What do you mean? Ain't
right.
nobody asked for you to do that. Don't act like I asked for it. There was no survey. Why are they taking Redskins away? There was no survey. Nobody asked nobody. They did it because they want to erase us.
Yeah, I agree. Right in your face, the real Indian, right in your face.
I mean, they're trying to erase everything and act like they doing somebody a favor. These things are all part of an agenda. It has nothing to do with trying to do anything for us because if they want to do something for us, they know what they could do for us. Okay, you don't got to dare going to do some dumb stuff that nobody asked for. Erasing all the evidence of who we are, erasing that we ever daggone existed on these things, changing the names of products, changing the names of teams, things that connect us as the people, connects us to the places, connects us to the products for that matter. In reality, they want all that gone.
Because who gives a fuck about Washington football team? That's a sad ass name.
It sure is. It is really sad. And you know what? What's the saddest thing is that people still watch it. They should stop watching it. It's bad enough they took all our teams away and put all our daggone and treat our damn sons like slaves on the meat market and have them playing for all their teams and they the daggone owners and they use that terminology. It's bad enough that that's happening, but then you're going to take away any kind of historical, historical evidence of who we are and our connection and our images and our names away from the teams and act like there's some insulted Indians. And then you got the fake Indians co-signing it, okay? Because that's the only thing they're good for is co-signing bull. It's horrible. And then you got these fake liberals acting like they caring about the racial injustice when they out there, they're just daggone globalists trying to erase the Indians. That's the problem. Yeah, they are horrible.
They're horrible.
They're the most destructive things. Those liberal daggone globalists are the worst. Pretending patting you on the back while they're daggone freaking molesting your child. They're just disgusting. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Negro. Disgusting. They were going around the country feverish. They even were going around. There was teams of daggone liberals going around the country, renaming little baseball teams, little schools, schools here and there. Oh, well, it's called the team on the school. I heard it on what I hear it on? It was on Clubhouse. There was a room.
Yeah,
Guy was going
Belfonte.
around. Yeah, he was traveling around doing and they had like live mics where they would go to these forums where the school was the school board was present and they were fighting for the school to take away the team's name of the engines or the something or the Redskins or the red whatever. And it was ridiculous. And people were fighting, saying, I went to school and this is the team I played on and my mom played on. And it's a history that we don't want to, and they're like, no, is this racist thing? I'm like, ain't nobody saying it's racist. Why are you white liberals arguing about what we find offensive? White liberals and these pick me Native American Indians, pick me government Native American Indians who are not even the real Indians, sit up there and speaking up for what is racially offensive. It's terrible. They're always in league together. They're always in league together. And this is a shame. You got to understand that they're trying to keep us oppressed and they're trying to daggone keep us separated and they're trying to keep us confused. That just looks like confusion. I got a feather on my fez. Really? So all these, whatever, all this time when everything says that whatever is Moorish is, out of Europe and sometime 700 years ago, now you're going to say that the daggone all this time that the American Indians were the Moors? Really? Well, y'all didn't know it when Noble Drew Ali organized? Y'all didn't know that then, huh? I guess they just realized it in the past couple of years when they started going to jail and didn't have a remedy. And then they found its remedy. The remedy was in the feathers.
Oh yeah, I found a school. It was the Belfonte Red Raiders, and they actually voted to keep the the mascot,
Red Raiders.
even though people were like, "Oh, it's hurtful." Mostly everybody voted to keep it. as recently. I think that was back in 20. I think they had like a
2020, I think, or something like that.
something like
Yeah.
that. But they still
Yeah.
have it to this day.
The
But they,
Red Raiders, good.
mhm, yeah.
So yeah, that's good. Well, we're gonna call this a close. We let the record show that we had the link in the chat. Moors were invited up on stage, but none were brave enough to come on stage. Oh well, we tried. We gave you the opportunity to speak up on your whatever belief or whatever you have to daggone say, but nobody wanted to take the daggone mic. So we about to close this show down. Anybody else got anything to say?
Believe in yourself. It's just that simple. Believe in yourself. You came through some cold people. And just to turn your back on them when that was the pipeline that got you through here is terribly disrespectful. Believe in yourself. I'm out.
Yeah, I like to, you do your genealogy. That's serious. You find gold and cherish your ancestors. The more you check, the more the more ancestors gonna pop up. I'm just telling you, just cherish them, and because we definitely came from royalty. We were royals. We were very royal, just like any other royalty. We probably higher. I'm not really sure, but we were definitely royal. So just know you come from royalty. So do your genealogy and find out who you are.
Um, Being a black European doesn't mean you're a Moor. You're probably a fucking Martian, a moron, a murderer, a snitch, and a dusty ass pirate if you are really a Moor via genealogy. And actually learn yourself and don't try to sideswipe Moorish American because that is fake. If that's the case, just be goddamn Dred Scott at this point. You're Dred Scott, more man of America or more woman of America, and find something that is tangible, that is in real fucking life, and not a fucking stupid ass temple. And I think this is Cam Newton in this picture. He has a part of, I think is either College Park or East Point that's named after him. But they got him in a fucking fez with a feather on. That's a big ass psyop. Learn who the fuck you are. Leave them Moors alone, bro.
And that's it. I would encourage everybody to research, ask questions. Don't believe people just because they saying it with the bass in their voice and conviction and they're using a lot of adjectives and pronouns. That doesn't make it real. And that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it correct. That doesn't make it historical. Do your research, questions, and always ask people for evidence. Show me the proof. Your words don't mean nothing without the proof. I want evidence. Okay? So the other thing is about all these groups are problematic, and the most important thing we have to do is teach our young to avoid them. This young man, he should have avoided even taking this picture, even if he's just doing it for fashion. I have no idea, but we should not play with this stuff because these these colonizing groups have been damaging us long enough. I am so thankful that now we're more intelligent and we're able to see it for what it is. Y'all have a good night. You're the best chat ever. Please look out for the Seafaring Accawmackes. They will be having their own YouTube channel coming up. And, when they start doing their lives, look at them. They're very, very informative. They got a lot of very good information that's going to be different from where you're going to hear what you're going to hear any place else. As you can imagine, you got a little sample of that tonight. Have a good night or more.